All right, so if you've been in the looks marketing space already or any kind of self-improvement space, you've probably heard about these little bad boys right here. I'm calling peptides. You've heard a lot of different stuff. They are bad for you, they are good for you, they have no side effects, they have side effects. In this video, I would like to address all of this stuff. What it actually is, should you be using it or you shouldn't be using it? Lies are everywhere, everyone is telling something different. I want to address the whole point right here. Okay, so let's first actually define what are peptides and what is the difference between them. They're just peptides, you inject them and you get jacked, great health, great skin, and everything. And no, this is not how it works. Because there are peptides for different use, with a different outcome, with different side effects. The smart discussion isn't peptides, yes or no. It is which ones, what evidence, what source, and we need to address this stuff. So yeah, there are all of these kind of different peptides. What I'm calling the underground peptides is that you've heard on TikTok, that you've heard on Instagram. People are telling you that you should be abusing them, but it goes actually far more deeper than that. Like inject yourself with GHKCU, try BPC 157. These have the least evidence. The prescription peptides, those are the ones that you can get from your doctor for any kind of use. And the cosmetic peptides, which are least harmful with least amounts of side effects. These are used in things like eyelash serums, eyebrow serums, and all of this other stuff that isn't harming your health. Yes, so exactly what I've addressed earlier is the evidence quality. From all of these underground prescription cosmetic peptides, there's different evidence quality for all of them. Of course, the underground ones that are growing on Instagram and TikTok like crazy will have the least evidence, while the prescription and cosmetic ones will have more and more. But why the hype for peptides, for looks maxing, fitness, and any of this other stuff has exploded so hugely? But well, people see them as some, first, crazy injury killers. This one especially, great for fat loss, this is what people think. Giving you a fake tan, good for your skin and good for your anti-aging journey, and any kind of biohacking stuff. The problem is when we actually talk about all of this stuff, it is having the wrong mindset using that. Because people are doing all of this, injury healing, fat loss, tanning, skin, biohacking stuff, just to get it quicker. Because what is actually true is that you can achieve all of these things naturally. And with the TikTok, Instagram, YouTube brains, we have been taught that we need to have shortcuts and fast results. This is the wrong mentality. And people are thinking if I'll take MT2, BPC 157, and GHKCU, I can just throw out my diet, throw out my sleep, and throw out my training. I will be looking great. And yeah, maybe for some time, but remember, only on the outside. The time will pass and on the inside, you will have a garbage body. It is also coming to the fact that people like the advanced and exotic stuff. Like, I will skip this and go straight to MT2. I will skip this and go straight to BPC 157. People feel that it's exotic, that it's advanced, and it will give you fast results quicker. But it is not actually how it works. Because using that for a quick result means that you are not addressing the root cause. And yeah, why do you actually want that? Fast results, short-term mentality, looks max culture. What we are talking about here is just the propaganda. You are listening to a guy for 1 minute on a reel, and he's telling you, take this, take that, and you will look like me. It is crazy, but this is how the TikTok mentality works. You want fast results, you have short-term mentality, and the looks max culture just cook this mentality. And unfortunately, people are falling for that. And what I want to address now is why it goes wrong and why people are taking this wrong. Because first, for most of the peptides, there's a really weak human evidence. So the peptides haven't been too long with us by far, right? Yeah, and people are already pounding it into their body. It actually takes years and decades to have a great research about vaccines, medicals, and any other of this stuff. And there is new stuff growing every day. Source quality problem. Yeah, and this is the big one. Because look, the place that most of your peptides come from is China. And I'll give you an example. If there is a new shop in the US that just got opened and they are having their e-commerce brand and they want to lab test these peptides from China, this fabric from China, they'll give them the purest and the best product that they can have. So what I mean by that, for the lab tests, you will have the best quality you can actually have. But what comes next? Of course, the production costs are huge and everyone wants their margins as big as possible. So what they are doing next is they are not giving you the 100% of the product that you bought. For example, if you've bought a GHKCU bottle from a shop that just opened a week ago, you might not be getting the GHKCU that you want. Because the lab test was done, it's approved, the shop is saying we are gonna buy tons now, they are shipping garbage to you. The next thing is that people don't actually know how to dose it properly and how to inject it properly. Funny thing is there are 19, 20 years olds that are becoming doctors in this kind of stuff, thinking that they do know everything about dosing this stuff, about how to do it correctly. And having big ego is okay, but that big of an ego is not okay. Yeah, and this is what I mentioned earlier. Guys are becoming self-diagnosed. And yeah, the last thing is unknown side effects. So most of the people that are taking this stuff are saying that there's no side effects. But let me give you an example. When the cigarettes were coming out 200 years ago, have people known the side effects? Of course not. They were just smoking it and thinking that it will not give them anything. And after years, we have the data on how it is actually wrong to smoke. And with peptides, when there is a new peptide coming every month, you will not have the evidence to prove that it has no or it has side effects. That's why we need to give it a time first to see if it actually worth it. Okay, so let's now talk about the most popular and biggest peptide packets. We have the healing ones, tanning ones, and skin. But let's start with that, healing peptides. Because we have the BPC 157, CB500, and CGC. The promise for that, you'll recover like a Wolverine. The problem is that internet confidence is way far ahead of human evidence. For example, for BPC 157, there are reviews that say preclinical data is actually interesting and it might be worth it. But the thing is that the human data, it's really, really low because there is just not much of it yet. Here we go, the perfect Luxmax trap. Tanning peptide, NT2, melanotan 2. So yeah, you might have probably seen these guys living in freaking Norway with no sun, blasting NT2 just to look like an orange. And this is when it actually gets more interesting because some recent case reports are saying that it can lead to melanoma. And the second most popular one, skin peptides, GHKCU. So the thing here is this peptide actually boosts your collagen and it is an effective anti-wrinkles peptide, but still at this time, the human data isn't too big to know if it's a good to go or it is not. That's why I want to address the things that will actually move your looks. And before you think that this is some boring stuff, just stay with me for a second because I want to drop the actual sauce in here. So well, things that might actually boost your looks, comparing it to the peptides. Body fat percentage. If you're over 15%, your muscles, jawline, eyes, they will just be under a layer of fat. And there is not a peptide fixing that. Proper diet. If you want to start with GHKCU, start with changing your diet because the outside glow comes with the things that you put in your body. Haircut and your facial hair. These are the quick fixes that you can have in a matter of hours, but can give you a huge boost in your appearance. Sleep. Of course, 7 to 9 hours is crucial. There is no peptides fixing that. You cannot replace sleep with any kind of peptides and of supplements. You have to sleep well. Styling. This is not just about your looks maxing journey and how to make your face and body look better, but your presence, because how you show off yourself to people. The next non-negotiable is consistent training at least 3 times a week. And what I put at last is maybe and only maybe some medical care, because there might be a reason for you to get some medical care because of XYZ. But overall, I wouldn't be looking to replace the basic things with the medicals. And I have actually some good news for you because all of the things right here, I do address in my community. So if you're looking to ascend and get better with your diet, skin, face, body, and your mindset as well, visit the link in the description. So what is the actual good answer? Should you take peptides or you shouldn't take peptides? I don't want to tell you never do anything without a reason. But if you're considering a peptide from some real medical issue, that is a doctor conversation. To see at first if you actually need the thing that you're thinking of. Because if you're buying mystery things from TikTok shops, you are sabotaging your face, looks, and body. So overall, do I recommend it? Definitely not. Do you need it? Definitely not. Unless it is a medical issue, because nearly all the things you can fix with the basic stuff that we talked about earlier. Please do not fall for this crazy propaganda of doing peptides. Start slowly with the basic stuff, see the results, and be consistent. If you would actually need something, think, read, and do the research. Because you might be surprised that 99% of fixes are made by the basic things. So guys, stay consistent, stay sharp, clean your diet, train right, start living, and check the link in the description. See you in the next one.